All right. Different room now. Let's see, where did I end? Question 6. How many athletes have you seen quit because of pressure of parents? A whole boatload. A lot of them. I've said this for a long time as coaches and as parents, we can't want it more than the players. And the problem is sometimes parents want it more. I've seen many kids that when they graduate high school, they're done. And they're pretty good too at softball, football, basketball, track. I've seen it all. I've seen some quit when they were a freshman year in high school. They're like, I'm over it. You can't tell me what to do anymore. So, quite a few. How many athletes have you seen struggle because of injury? You're giving me you're asking questions where I have to give you specifics. I don't have specific numbers, so I apologize for that. But I've seen my fair share. That they're struggling through an injury. It's not just the injury; it's the time of the injury. Is it their senior year? I've seen a couple where it sucks. They get hurt. It's their senior year. They work so hard, and boom, it's taken away. I've seen it when they're young, at a young age. And everybody is thriving or working their way up, and they're like on a standstill. I've seen it midway through a season. So there's different degrees of it. How many athletes have you seen quit because of an injury? Quite a few. When they realize that it's not worth it, that the pain is big, that they could risk more injury. Head injuries, back injuries have been the two that I've seen the most. So quite a few on that one. What would you say to an athlete who struggles with mental health? Communicate. Reach out to somebody, anybody, a teacher, coach, administrator, a teammate, a friend, maybe even a parent. When I say maybe even a parent, it's because sometimes there's a communication barrier there between a parent and a child. So I would hope that my daughters would come to me. I'd hope that my son would come to me. But I do think that that's the number one thing. Open up and discuss it. Number 8, what is the best thing coaches can do to help an athlete be successful? For me, it's honesty. There's nothing worse than a coach that lies. There's nothing worse than a coach that misleads. I've said this to my students and to my athletes: if you have an ugly baby and you ask me, I'm going to tell you it's ugly if the baby's ugly, if you have an ugly baby. So I like to be as honest as possible. But I also like to be fair. So I think the best thing coaches can do to help is be fair and be honest. Those are the two things. Number 9, what's the best thing a parent can do to help their child be successful? Support them, counsel them, step aside sometimes. With Marley, I never really coached her in her youth softball, and she was pretty successful. I stepped aside. I let her be her. I would help out when I thought it was necessary. I would give advice when I thought it was necessary. With Lily, I happened to coach her a lot, but I'm not that overbearing parent. I'm fair. Sometimes I'm tough, but that's the best advice. Support, stepping aside, counsel, love them up. How do you help athletes balance school, personal life, and training for the sport? Well, that's kind of a tough question because everybody's different. Some people have good balance skills. Some people can prioritize. Others can't. And when they can't, they have to give something up. And if they don't give it up, then something's going to slip. I know people that won't really have much of a social life because it's all about school and it's all about their sport. I know people that can't do sports because their social life is so big and their school and vice versa. So what do you do to help? You teach them how to prioritize. You teach them how to balance it. You can still have fun. The key to sports is having fun. The key to high school is having fun. You graduate, and in 10 years from now, what are you going to remember out of it? Is it the wins? Is it all the accolades? I've heard people say that they missed out because they were overly focused. And then the last one, what's your advice to student athletes who are struggling with mental health issues? Did you already ask that? What's your advice to students who are struggling with mental health issues? I think you asked that, but my advice would be to communicate, to talk it out, be truthful. Don't bottle up all the feelings. I would also advise athletes to look out for one another. You know, I teach empathy and sympathy in my sociology class. Empathy means I've been there. I know how you're feeling. Sympathy means never been there before, but I could only imagine. Those that have done it, who empathize, who have dealt with some mental struggles, they better be looking out for some of their friends and teammates, and when they see the signs, do something about it. So hopefully that helps. Adios.